Hi everyone, and welcome back to the podcast where we explore the Canadian school curriculum and share strategies for helping students succeed. I'm your host, Daniel, and today's focus is math in grades 7 and 8, the crucial bridge between elementary math and high school mathematics. If grades 4 to 6 are about solidifying core skills, grades 7 to 8 are about expanding them into more abstract, multi-step, and real-world problem solving. This is where students meet algebra, complex fractions, advanced geometry, and more, and where confidence in math can either soar or start to drop. So whether you're a parent guiding your child, a teacher looking for strategies, or a student wanting to get ahead, this episode will walk you through what's taught, why it matters, and how to succeed. Why grades 7 and 8 are critical. In these grades, math changes in three major ways. 1. Abstract thinking. Students move from mostly concrete problem solving to symbolic and algebraic reasoning. 2. Multiple solutions. There's often more than one valid way to solve a problem, and students are expected to choose and justify their method. 3. Preparation for high school. Topics now connect directly to grade 9 and 10 math, so strong skills here make the transition much smoother. Grade 7, Overview. Number sense. Operations with fractions, decimals, and integers. Order of operations, powers, and exponents. Algebra. Simplifying expressions, solving one-step and two-step equations. Geometry. Area and perimeter of complex shapes, surface area, and volume of prisms and cylinders. Data management, mean, median, mode, range, reading and creating different graphs. Probability, theoretical versus experimental probability. Strategy tip. Encourage students to write out each step in their work. Skipping steps often leads to avoidable errors in more complex math. Grade 8, Overview. Number sense. Perfect squares, square roots, ratios, rates, and proportional reasoning. Algebra. Solving multi-step equations, working with inequalities, graphing linear relations. Geometry, Pythagorean theorem, surface area, and volume of spheres and cones. Data and probability, scatter plots, trend lines, probability of independent and dependent events. Introduction to functions, recognizing patterns, describing linear relationships. Strategy. Tip. This is the year to build fluency in algebra. Encourage consistent, short practice sessions rather than cramming before tests. Common challenges in grades 7 to 8. Math. Some students struggle here because they have gaps in earlier skills, especially fractions and multiplication facts. They find algebra intimidating at first. They lack practice in explaining their reasoning. Solutions. Review basics regularly, even while learning new concepts. Break down algebra into familiar small steps. Practice math talk. Have students explain why a solution works, not just show the answer. Study and practice strategies. 1. Daily review. 10-15 minutes each day keeps skills fresh. 2. Mix it up. Combine procedural practice, equations, factoring with application problems, geometry and real-life contexts. 3. Use graph paper. It helps organize algebra steps and geometry diagrams. 4. Work backwards for word problems, sometimes starting from the end goal helps clarify the steps. 5. Practice. Without a calculator, builds mental agility and deeper understanding. Mastering algebra. The gateway skill. I want to focus here because algebra is the single most important skill in grades 7 or 8 for future math success. Students who are comfortable with algebra will find high school math far less intimidating. Why algebra matters. It's the foundation for high school courses like functions, trigonometry, and even calculus. It develops logical thinking and problem decomposition skills. Before we dive into our next set of grade 7 and 8 math strategies, I want to tell you about a resource that can make a huge difference for both students and educators, the Math Workbook Grade 7-8 by Mervoxid Press. What I like most about this workbook is how clearly it follows the Canadian curriculum. Every chapter builds on the previous one, so students aren't just jumping from topic to topic, they're moving through a logical learning path. It covers everything these grades demand, from algebra and equations to geometry, data management, and probability, and does it with clear explanations, step-by-step examples, and plenty of practice questions. There's a nice balance between straightforward drills to build fluency and challenging real-world word problems that develop critical thinking. One feature I think parents and teachers will really appreciate is the built-in review sections. They help students revisit earlier concepts while learning new ones, which is essential in these middle school years. So, if you're looking for a reliable way to strengthen skills, fill gaps, or prepare for high school math, this workbook is a fantastic choice. I'll drop the link in the description so you can check it out for yourself. All right, let's get back to the episode. How to master it. Start simple. Make sure variables are understood as numbers in disguise. Practice translating words to symbols. Turn sentences like 5 more than twice a number is 17 into equations. Show all steps. This prevents small sign or calculation errors from snowballing. Mix equation. Types. Include one-step, two-step, and equations with variables on both sides. Use real-life examples, calculate savings growth, phone plan costs, or speed distance time problems. When algebra becomes familiar, students feel much more confident tackling higher-level math. Preparing for high school math. By the end of grade 8, students should be comfortable with multi-step equations and inequalities, all fraction, decimal, and integer operations, Pythagorean theorem applications, interpreting and creating various graphs. If these are strong, the leap into grade 9 is much smoother, and it sets the tone for success in the years to come. Connecting grades 7 to 8 math to future careers. One of the most common questions I hear from students in grades 7 and 8 is, when will I ever use this in real life? The truth is, you'll use it more than you think, often without even realizing it. This is the stage where math moves beyond the classroom and starts connecting to skills needed in future studies, careers, and everyday decision-making. Showing these connections now can spark interest, build motivation, and help students see math as a tool, not a chore. 1. Technology and computer science, algebra and logic, foundational for programming, app development, and robotics, coordinate geometry, used in computer graphics, animation, and game design. 2. Architecture and engineering, geometry and measurement, designing structures, creating blueprints, calculating materials. Pythagorean theorem, critical for determining distances and structural stability. 3. Health and medicine, ratios and proportions, calculating medication dosages, data analysis, reading and interpreting research results or patient data. 4. Business and finance, percentages and interest, understanding savings, investments and loans, statistics, analyzing sales data and market trends. Motivation. Tip: if you're a parent or teacher, try pairing each new math topic with at least one real-life or career-based example. When students see how these skills appear in jobs they care about, whether that's designing video games or running a business. And that wraps up our deep dive into math for grades 7 and 8 in the Canadian school system. These years are a bridge, and how well you cross it can make a huge difference for high school success. Build strong foundations, master algebra, and keep practicing problem solving in real-world contexts. If you enjoyed this episode, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with other parents, teachers, or students who might find it helpful. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time for more tips on mastering the Canadian curriculum.